Hello, friends, fans, subscribers, guys, dolls, what have you. This is Laura, and if you're new here, welcome. This is different than what I usually do when I do it. I would like to get back into it more often. And I'm sorry it has to start up like this. My first story time, if you will. It is about a relationship gone wrong. And this time, needlessly wrong. And I'll go ahead and issue a content warning because what I'm about to share might set off some of you. And yes, I will warn you about impending profanity, even though I may try to bleep it out later, if I can on this phone. And third of all, I need you to know that if you know who they really are, I ask that you avoid sending any hatred towards him, even if it might be befitting. Please don't do so, because I don't intend to do so. I only intend to get my side of the story out. Also, to address a few things that could pop up. I am on the autism spectrum. This is especially for the new people. I am on the autism spectrum. And there are some good things that come with it. But unfortunately, there are also some downright embarrassing traits that I am not proud of when they come out. Especially now that I have been having a consensual non-monogamous relationship for months now. But one of the relationships, another one, has gone horribly awry. And I'm about to share that in a minute. But first, I need to get a few things out of the way. This isn't being shown to present myself as being perfect. Nobody is perfect. Okay? I am no better than anyone else. Nor am I any worse than anyone else. Second of all, some may try to use some of the tu quoque arguments. What I have to say to that is, nobody is perfect. And I'm far from perfect. And I have done stupid shit that I'm not proud of. And sometimes in disagreements with my closest ones, sometimes I have behaved in ways that I'm not crazy about. I am not proud of it. Alright? And I pardon my tone right there, because what I'm about to share, there could be some that may try to justify that. And I'm trying to nip that in the bud. So, yes, I apologize for any fear this may have caused to some of you viewers. Third of all, I am aware of the existence of a certain group of people who will blame the woman for everything, especially for what goes wrong in relationships, without knowing the entire story, which is wrong. But I will go ahead and say this. I was never once mean, nasty, rude, cruel, or abusive to anybody. I made damn sure of that. I made damn sure of that. Because I want my partners to feel cared about and loved, even if it is different for everybody. it's because no relationship is the same. Okay? That out of the way. Let's begin. I will start off with, I'm going to begin now. So, to start off, I'm going to sum it up as this. While you have the right to feel like you are not compatible with somebody, or maybe annoyed, or bored, or frustrated, you have the right to those feelings. Those feelings are valid. What is not valid is behaving in an aberrant manner towards the person that you may be de-escalating or straight up ending a relationship with. What two did, I'll call this partner that I'm sharing my side of the story with, two. Because first of all, I don't want to make trouble for anyone. And that sort of the order of how they entered the picture. Nothing to do with importance or anything like that. That being said, so, two acted very aberrantly toward me for no good reason at all. None. Yesterday, when he decided to end the relationship. Two, he admitted not knowing how to do breakups. Yes, you gotta give two credit for that. But I certainly would never, ever give him any credits for how he behaved towards me leading up towards that. I would not. First of all, what he did was first like shooting low blows, attacking me, my character and shit. Like trying to make sure I'm not doing too much. Because I've had a history of being seen as either too much or not enough. And as a result, I have felt that I could never win. But I was trying to placate too. And our love language was touch. So, I did what I naturally would when trying to comfort an upset partner. It's at the end of the date. Okay? We lingered a while, we normally would have. And chat about different things. He acted very kind of grouchy and a little curmudgeonly. Now, first saying things like, when my news notification went off, saying things like, "You never read anything legitimate anyway." And I'll go ahead and tell you the truth. I'm sorry, we're going to be heading into an potentially inflammatory topic, but much of what is in the news these days has been manipulated, so therefore puts a damper on any legitimacy, especially if it leans too far one way or the other. But that's another video. And also, if two really felt that I bored him to death every time we went out, then why did he keep coming around when it worked out most times? When we were actually doing things and activities and looking at stuff. Because there's something to do. There's something structured. For one. And two, I never once was mean to 2. Never. Never, ever, ever was I mean. Even when I didn't always agree with him, I always was as polite as I could be. I should know because I was there, and I know what my intentions were. Yes, impact matters just as much as intention does. But the impact versus intent thing would be best saved for another video, because it's only tangentially related here. There, hung out a little at his place and did some stuff. But unfortunately, 2 acted very selfishly toward me. And when I said something bothered me, to put it lightly, he reacted insensitively, saying, deal with it, when he should have said, I'm so sorry, when he should have apologized for that. Also, at that time, I didn't really feel like I could totally be my true self. I live at more than just the surface, contrary to outward appearances. Don't let my outward appearances fool you, okay? If someone's posting a lot of photos on Instagram, you're only seeing but one side of them. But that is another topic for another video, because that's only tangentially related here, if any relation at all. Hi, Blondie. And there was that. First, he had attacked my performance while we were hanging out. And I said, sorry. I said, sorry you think that. He's like, oh, it's nothing. Well, the 2 was. 2 was like, oh, it's nothing. Well, if it was really nothing, then there was really no need for you to act like that. None. I would never have been that rude or crude to you. Never, ever, ever would I do that. Never would I. Never would I lose my temper at you. Never did I, even. And then he decided to end things, but did it in a very, very rude, cruel, nasty, aberrant, cruel, cold-hearted, disgusting way possible. Totally flipping his lid after saying that, oh, I don't care about context and yada yada yada, and then admitting then that he didn't know how to do breakups, clearly. And I will go ahead and say, clearly, no, you don't, too. You don't. You don't. You don't just up and burn bridges over a tiny thing like that. And I will go ahead and say, sorry that I couldn't give you what you needed or what you wanted. And I'm sorry I couldn't be a good match for you as much as I have tried. And if that isn't truly caring for somebody or thinking up ways to show appreciation, then I don't know what is. I don't know what is. And that is my response to when he went off the handle and went saying like, I see bullshit, see foaming at the lips and yada yada yada. It's and going off on and totally flipping his lid over a petty matter. A petty matter. You don't do that. People do it, but you shouldn't, is my point. that he was in the wrong. And then just totally flipping the lid. Like, I don't feel any love from you, and blah, 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 blah. And then repeatedly going, get the fuck out of my car! And just carrying on in a manner that would be an insult even to toddlers. It would be an insult to toddlers. And just because you're on the spectrum, it does not excuse that kind of shit. That kind of shitty behavior. Nobody deserves that. Nobody. Even if by some odd chance I had cheated on you, which I had not. I had not cheated on you. Even that wouldn't make it okay. Okay? I made a pointed effort to make sure that I was practicing the CNM game correctly and in as ethical of a manner as I possibly could. And make sure I treated everybody involved respectfully as possible, caringly as I could. Everyone closest to me would know this. That being said, and repeatedly doing that, it's like, and then I said, sorry you feel that way when he started going off. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you feel that way. The typical broken record technique when somebody is raging. And I started to yell. I said, you don't have to yell. And he's like, well, I'm gonna yell. Get the fuck out of my car. And blah, 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 blah. There and yada, 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 yada. And flipping the bird. And I told him to stop doing that. I told him to stop. I was doing the best I can. Doing the best I could without stooping to that lowly level that two drooped to. Yeah, there were other little things, too, that I didn't think much of at the time. And I'll go ahead and say why I didn't think much of it at the time. The reason for that is this time the warning signs were a bit different. Because I am so used to picking apart my own character all the time. It is a habit that I could name a few possible things where that could have come from. But normally, anytime somebody acts in an untoward manner towards me, the first thing I do is tear apart my every word, my every action, my every inaction, my every movement, just to be extra sure that I didn't unwittingly do something toxic. And even toxic is based entirely on increasingly blurred thresholds. That's a topic for another story time. That being said, when Tu did what he did, I was reduced to tears. Because first of all, who expects to be treated like that? Nobody. No fucking buddy. Being honest does not mean acting cruelly to somebody. And I sure as hell don't try to be cruel. Hell no. Hell no. And chances are, Tu could be talking some shit to a few people that he does have left as friends. How can Tu expect to get through life like that? I should have told him that he didn't have to do that and that his behavior was bad. Like, I did say, you don't have to yell. Stop that. I was trying to de-escalate the situation. And I tried to stay as calm as possible. And doing all the things that I learned from watching videos of how to deal with narcissistic abuse and how to deal with somebody who is difficult, including the broken record technique, which maybe saved me, but nonetheless, he still acted extremely aberrantly and in a very uncalled for manner. Totally uncalled for. Even a long-term relationship, you don't act like that. Even if the other person was acting rudely to you. Now, if somebody was being physically abused, that it's not good, but it is understandable if somebody was genuinely being abused. Like physical abuse. Emotional abuse is just as genuine and just as bad, if not worse. And if I'd have known that two were gonna just up and bite my head off over stupid, petty matters, I would have called my mother to come get me. From his place, from Two's place. Yes, sweetheart, this is Blondie. He's a big baby, yeah. So, yeah, in a nutshell, and I pretty much gave a lot of details, but there are some things that I'm gonna, out of respect for privacy, keep to myself, and out of respect. So, yeah. I hope you guys are doing well. And to finish off, I will go ahead and say this. Please don't repeat Two's sins if you feel that you're incompatible with somebody. And if you have anger issues or have had a history of them, whether or not you are on the autism spectrum, please get help. Okay, please get help. And please get help, okay? And please do not adapt a cynical worldview like Two has done. I can understand some cynicism, but making somebody feel stupid or less than for not being as cynical as you simply by looking at them some kind of way or reacting some kind of way is not okay. And you may be wondering, why did you continue? Because there were times that were mostly good. Apart from those odd behaviors sometimes that didn't happen all the time. And they were different red flags from a previous relationship I had had several years ago where the red flags were much more stark. Okay? And these red flags were things that I was used to picking myself apart about and naturally conceded that if the other person says something about the way I do things, which don't harm anybody, the way I connect with attractions in certain places like the Ren Fest, or what have you, I will cherish always the good times that we did have, but am very disgusted, angered and ashamed, and hurt, most importantly, by how it all went to shit over nothing and how extremely poorly he behaved. And now I know to watch out for those little things. And now I know that I need somebody that we can share and learn facts with each other and know that we'll never bore each other. I know I need that, for sure. 2, I need somebody who gives barrage after barrage after barrage of intellectual stimulation. Even if sometimes I might not always agree, that we can still talk about it in a respectful manner. Thought-provoking, bang, 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 bang. But in a way that does not make me or the other side feel powerless, stupid, inferior, or less than. I know now that the kinds of partners I need are those who are gonna love and appreciate me for me. And that we can do that for each other. And that in times of conflict, that we are able to resolve it right away in a healthy manner. And know that we are not going to abuse each other. And that if we need to seek counseling or other assistance to help solve the problem, then that's what we need to do. Be willing to seek help if needed. And you know who you are too. You really need to take a good, cold, hard look at yourself. At why you don't want to improve yourself. And if you keep biting off the wrong head,